The fix is in. The Sports Fix.
Sports Fix listeners, don't wait all day or all week to get in on the fun. The party doesn't stop when we go off the air all week long. The Sports Fix social media sites are your one-stop shop for all things Cleveland sports. Jump over to Facebook.com/TheSportsFix, Facebook.com/TheSportsFix, and become a fan today because we love fans and they create some of the best sports talk in town, Daddy. You'll enjoy talking to your fellow Cleveland sports fans on the Sports Fix fan page. And if Twitter's your thing, well, you know how we do it. Tweet with us at TheSportsFixCLE. It's that simple.
Twitter.com/TheSportsFixCLE, baby.
Chat live with the crew during all your favorite Cleveland sports events, tickets and contests and trivia and so much more. Get with us today, The Sports Fix on social media, Facebook.com/TheSportsFix. Tweet with us at TheSportsFixCLE. Join the Sports Fix on Facebook and Twitter today.
This is Greg Pruitt, formerly of the Cleveland Browns, and you're listening to The Sports Fix.
Live in Ohio, it's time to get your fix. The Sports Fix.
Boom, just like that. Click the button on the air. Welcome in, you guys, to the Sports Fix. It's Friday. Man, it's already, I'm telling you, it's not just already Friday. Look at 3 quarters of this year. Has rolled past us already. It is the end of another week here on the Sports Fix, another loaded edition of the show. Speaking of loaded, I'm loaded up on coffee myself. I don't know about you guys, but and I've told you guys before, I'm a generation of the detective shows. You know, I grew up. My grandmother had me. I was influenced by my grandmother as a child. I was probably the only kid watching, Ironsides and Quincy and Kojak and all of that, and Magnum PI. So, anyways, I'm a Law and Order type of guy. I've told you guys I get into that. I've got that side of me anyway, man. Last night, I don't know about you guys, but I was up all night long listening to the police scanner out of Allen County, out of Lima. When I got a text before I even saw anything. I got a text, and there's a friend of mine said, "Hey, man, did you see the headlines?" I said, "No, I was actually, I don't remember. I was watching the football game, and the Ravens and the Steelers." Speaking of the Steelers, real quick, we'll get into it, but man, the Steelers, since the first half against the Browns, the Steelers have just looked like a completely different team the next 6 quarters. But anyway, so I was watching the game. I was putting the kids to bed, stuff like that, and found out about TJ Lane, the Chardon shooter who killed 3 kids, paralyzed another one, just terrorized an entire community with that. I was actually, not just because I live right here in Northeast Ohio, but I covered that every day when I was news anchoring over on WHK. Every day I was in on that, and so I'm really privy to all the details and all the nastiness that went down at the trial and the sentencing and all of that. The stuff, man, with the T-shirt. Like I remember that day, and I'm like, how in the world was this okay? And the judge said he didn't notice while the kids got killer on his T-shirt, and then the words. I'm not even going to repeat them on the show. What he said to the families that day, I'm telling you, it's like some stuff that hardcore serial killers don't say at their sentencing in this kid. So anyways, point being, he 3 life sentences. You figure, okay, he's gone. And it's also a little closer to me too, because one of the wrestlers that I trained, a friend of mine, I don't know if I should say his name, but anyways, he was related to one of the victims of that shooting as well. So I got a little bit of a personal connection too. But I was like, wow, because whenever you hear somebody escapes, it catches you by surprise, and then when it's a more notorious person, you go, wow, how is that even possible? And then when the details come out, by the way, getting off of listening to the police scanner, he hopped over a fence. I'm looking at the picture of this Allen County correctional facility here, and it's giant. It's this just big. He only gets 100 yards, a football field away from the thing. It took hours to find him. It took like 8 hours to find him. He's less than 100 yards from where he goes. But how does he get out of this thing? He hops over a fence. first thing I'm thinking is, let me tell you, Andy Dufresne wished he could have just hopped over a fence, because I'm pretty sure Andy Dufresne crawled through a whole bunch of bad stuff before he could get out. Of course, I'm joking, referring to the Shawshank Redemption, but I'll just tell you, Andy Dufresne didn't have it quite as easy as TJ Lane and his compadres did last night. 3 of them out last night, hopping a fence, and they all get caught and they all get captured. But I will definitely can sit here right and admit to you guys that I fired up the police scanner, and there I was all night long playing some Madden and listening to that thing. First they catch TJ Lane. It was probably about 1 o'clock in the morning or something like that when they find him. And you, there's a difference between hearing it on the news and hearing it on the police scanner, you know, like, because it's just different, you know, and you're hearing the real-time interaction. And I just remember I'm sitting there listening, and they're like, we've captured one, not sure which one he is, looks like it's the younger one. Yeah, we can confirm it's TJ Lane. Yeah, he had a pitchfork on him when we caught him. And they say it so, you know, blatantly and brazenly that you do a double take, and you're like, did he just say that the guy had a pitchfork on him when they caught him? What were you going to do with that? Make some hay? You going to bale some hay when they came? Anyway, so, but they found him about 3 hours later. They got the dogs out, and they found the third guy that went out there. The first one, he didn't even make it past the fence. I don't even know. They're not releasing a whole bunch of details because I'm guessing some people are going to lose their jobs. I'm just curious, and I know it's probably because of the age thing, but I am just curious how a guy serving all that time for murders, multiple murders, can be placed in a facility where you can climb a fence to get out, man. And because that's amazing to me. I joke about Andy Dufresne, but seriously, I mean, it's not like prison escapes are routine, you know what I mean? And I see some of you guys, I see some of the thoughts in the chat room. Trust me, especially knowing the details. I mean, that kid's stomach turning to me. Just one of the most vile people. I mean, and it's amazing that you're talking about a youth like that. But hey, obviously, whatever was crossed up in the wires went way wrong, and that just needs to be. Anyways, and you think sometimes you wonder if evolution takes care of things like that, and I definitely had some of those same feelings and thoughts that I see some of you guys with there, but end of the day, the thing I was most worried about was more people being hurt. When I heard about it, I'm like, you know, especially because, and I don't know if this pops into everybody's mind when you're thinking about it, but I'm looking at the date on the calendar too, and I'm going, wow, this is already a significant event, you know, a day that lives in infamy. And here now, what if, because when you're crazy and you're whacked out like that, man, you come up with strange reasons to put things together. And I'm thinking, what if like they've got some really bad intentions here? Because you never know, and that stuff can happen quickly, you know. So that's my thought is, you know, are they just trying to hit the border? Or are they just running for Mexico? Or do they have some bad intentions? Turns out that they didn't have very intelligent intentions because, like I said, they got caught less than a football field away from where they headed out over the thing. But it could have been ugly. That was the thing that I was the most worried about, you know. And like I said, knowing some people in the community out there and some people that are, you know, obviously related, and if you never get past it. But as time goes by, you know, it starts to get a little bit, it's not even easier. You guys know that. Grief doesn't get easier. Time just passes. So it gets a little more normal, I guess. You start to get used to the circumstances. And then all of them had to, you know what I mean? All of them had to have that, bam, flooded right back. On top of the fact that I have no doubt some of them were afraid, thinking, hey, what happens next? What if this kid sat in prison stewing over everything that happened, and now this is his revenge part too? So there was definitely some worry there on my part, and I was glad to see that it just got wrapped up relatively peacefully and taken care of. As far as anybody else being put into danger, him, I could have cared less what happened to him in the process of being captured. Nothing happened to him, it turns out, in the process of being captured. But yeah, so I admit to being up all night long listening to the police scanner, not just once they caught TJ Lane, but I just kept listening to it. And anyway, so couple pots of coffee later, here we go. But if you guys are anything like me, I don't know if you guys do that, but I definitely I don't know, I've got that side. Like I said, I'm attracted to Law and Order and investigative procedures in that. So there I was. That's how I spent my evening last night. That and simulating out the Browns and the Saints. We'll talk about it a little bit later on, but I'm just saying, Madden's got the same feeling that I got, man. The Madden video game is feeling an upset here. I'm feeling an upset, you guys. Matter of fact, I've seen some people nationally are trying to say the same narrative. We're going to talk today. Let's set the stage. I was talking a little bit about last night. Today is a Friday edition of the show. We've got a ton of things to talk about. First segment here, we're going to talk about the Indians, of course. Bam! Sweep the doubleheader. I'm looking at a message that just came in. Sweep the doubleheader just like they needed to. Biggest series of the season. Forget all this biggest road trip. You only got so many of them left. This is it. It comes down here. It's meaningful. It's September. Bam. We're going to get at it. We'll talk some Tribe here early on. Jonathan Knight, Sportswriter extraordinaire, just about 15 minutes from now, he's going to join us. We'll get his take on the Tribe, and I'm going to see where he's at on my Team of Destiny thing. We'll talk Browns and Josh Gordon. Speaking of, got some updates on that for you guys here to start things off. Hour number 2, Browns preview as we get into it for the Browns and the Saints. Jeff Gorman from Browns101.com. He's going to be with us with the scouting report of the New Orleans Saints. Ryan Ruiz of the Inscribers got his 3 dog bones to a Browns victory, what they've got to do to have a chance to win this game, turn around the luck in the home opener against the Saints. All of that, your takes, and so much more. Matter of fact, I'm going to open up the phone lines early on here. I got, like I said, about 15, 18 minutes here for the opening segment. I'll squeeze in any calls there or back at the end of the show. Other than that, it's going to be really loaded. So with all that done and said, and now let's do it official style here. Welcome into the Sports Fix, guys. We're kicking it off. J-Rock, Jerry Myers with you here, as we are each and every weekday at noon, doing the Sports Fix thing across the Sports Fix radio network. That may mean you guys listening. I see you guys over there in Mixler, in the Mixler chat room, on Spreaker, on TuneIn, listening live on TuneIn's radio app worldwide. Many of you listen to us right on our home base, thesportsfix.net, our mothership, our website there. Welcome into each and every one of you listening to the show live as well. Shout out to everybody around the world, thousands of you that listen each and every day on digital delay. Different time zones abound on iTunes, on the world's largest internet radio provider, iHeartRadio, on Stitcher and CarPlay and SoundCloud, and all of the different podcast and download formats and way that you listen to the show, whether you listen live, listen on delay. Thank you guys so much. I say it all the time. You guys are the Sports Fix. This is why we do this, and I love getting the chance to do it with you guys each and every day here, and I want you to be a part of it. Phone lines are ringing. As I said, I'm going to open them up here for the first few minutes of the show. 216-539-7535, 216-539-7535. Use Facebook and Twitter, social media to stay in touch with us all day long, or if you can't get on the phones, Facebook.com/thesportsfix, and make sure you like the page while you're there. Tweet with us at the Sportsfix CLE. Email us thesportsfix@AOL.com. Let me know your thoughts on everything going on, not just while you listen to the show, but throughout your day, throughout your evening. Love to be a part of your sports conversation here on the Sports Fix. And like I said, a whole lot going on here. You know, real quickly before we get into before I get into anything, I'm going to break my script here for just a second because I wanted to bring this up to you guys real quick. I got an email right before we went on the air, and it just made me chuckle a little bit, from the Cavaliers about their season tickets. They've decided how they're going to do the single game tickets, and I just got a kick out of the way they did it. I thought, that's actually perfectly fitting for the Cavaliers. They have built this team that is now, going to be very high priced, very high demand on the tickets, hopefully high outcome at the end of it. But the point is, they built it on the luck of the lottery. So doesn't it just make sense that the Cavaliers have decided to put single game tickets up in a lottery too? If you are not one of the people who bought season tickets, then single game tickets, to keep them out of the hands of ticket brokers, the Cavaliers are going to do a single game ticket lottery there. That way, they can hopefully try to, I don't want to say rig the odds, but they want to try to make sure that it's individual people getting it and not, like I said, brokers and people able to do it for business purposes. So they're going to do a monthly lottery process. It starts at the end of this month on the 26th, and month by month you will have the opportunity to be entered in a lottery, and then if the winners that they pull can buy single game tickets to the games and do things that way. And then you can also, if you don't want to do that, you can buy tickets on the flash seats as well. You can buy them directly off of there from season ticket holders or whatnot.